Hey everyone, Coach Investor back to another video for today. So let's talk about Amazon's big move that will probably affect the likes of Intel, AMD, and Nvidia. And when I'm talking about Amazon, I'm talking specifically about AWS, the cloud department, basically the biggest cloud player on the planet. So if you're interested in that, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not. I would really appreciate that. And if you want to support me and this channel, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to full.com/couchinvestor. Make sure to check out all the other links in the pinned comment. So what do we have here? Basically, AWS launches Graviton 3E, its new ARM-based chip for HPC workloads. Now, this new chip, a variant of the existing Graviton line, promises significant performance improvement, including 35% better performance for workloads that heavily depend on vector instructions. Now, it will take until early 2023 before these instances become available. For more network-intensive workloads, AWS is also launching a new Graviton 3E instance type C7GN. Now, as for the Intel fan, there is some slight good news here. There's also the new Ice Lake-based Xeon-based machines, which you can read or listen more on the AWS blog. But in short, today they will talk and tell you about the next generation of Intel Power general purpose compute optimized and memory optimized instances. All three of these instances families are powered by third generation Intel Xeon scalable processors, or Ice Lake, running at 3.5 GHz and are designed to support your data-intensive workloads with up to 200 GB per second of network bandwidth, the highest EBS performance in EC2, and the ability to handle up to twice as many packets per second as earlier instances. So, good news on Intel front. Now, going back to AWS and talking about the Graviton 3E instance. So all these new instances will make use of AWS new Nitro V5 hardware hypervisor, which the company also announced today. Nitro V5 promises significantly improved latency, up to 40% better performance per watt, and 60% higher PPS. The AWS team made this possible by roughly doubling the number of transistors in the custom Nitro chips. Now, of course, this means that yes, AWS is competing with the likes of Intel, AMD, and Nvidia, which are also partners of Amazon's AWS. But there is some more context to it. So the newest chip is the latest piece of Amazon's effort to build more of the hardware that fills the massive data centers that powers AWS. Amazon says making its own chips will give customers more cost-effective computing power than they could get by renting time on processors built by the likes of Intel, Nvidia, or AMD. The move has put AWS in direct competition with those companies, which are also among its biggest suppliers. Now, DeSantis said, not the politician, but DeSantis, this guy right here, the Senior Vice President of Engineering at AWS. So he said the chip makers remain great partners and that AWS plans to continue to offer high-performance computing services based on chips made by other companies. So you can chill, relax. This is not the end for Intel, AMD, or Nvidia when it comes to, well, partnering up with AWS. Now, to give you a bit of a history here, so back in 2015, AWS acquired chipmaker Annapurna, which is the name of a very high mountain, so Annapurna Labs, to jumpstart homegrown chip designs, which at first were focused on simpler computing tasks, such as providing the backbone for websites. The high-performance computing push announced at the kickoff of the AWS reInvent trade show on Monday is an effort to demonstrate that Amazon's in-house technology can compete head-to-head with chips from industry leaders. It will obviously be interesting to see how this will evolve over time. Now they give us here some extra details. So computers that predict weather patterns and model race cars aerodynamics. If you're following F1, you probably see those stats popping up on the screen sometimes during the race. Those are among the most powerful systems run by state-of-the-art semiconductors. Those components have typically been provided by Intel, Nvidia, and AMD in expensive computer systems that companies, government departments, and academic institutions have built in their own data centers. Now again, this is not the end of the world for the likes of Intel, AMD, and Nvidia, but this is certainly something to keep an eye on if more and more big cloud providers will start to do this in-house. We've seen this happen well with the likes of Apple, for example, when they moved away from Intel and designed their chips in-house, their own silicon. Now, when it comes to AWS, this is obviously a huge part of the thesis of investing in Amazon. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things that, those are things that were announced since the start of November. So AWS launches infrastructure region in Switzerland. Then they launched it in Spain. Not so long after that, Duke Energy collaborates with AWS. AWS launches second infrastructure region in India. AWS makes water positive commitment to return more water to communities that it uses by 2030. AWS announces more and more things almost each and every day, if not each and every week. And of course, if we look at the last quarter, AWS still growing quite nicely, now year over year 27%, or excluding the FX headwinds 28%, but overall still a tremendous business for Amazon. If you look at operating income for the trailing 12 months, 36% year over year. Now, operating income here grew 11% to $5.4 billion. So while this news might be scary for investors in AMD, Nvidia, or Intel, for now, there's nothing to really worry about because we've seen all the announcements already from those partners, their commitments to the data centers of AWS, of Azure, and Google as well. So those deals are in place already today. They're still working together. Now we just have this to look out for the future. If they completely move away from their partners and focus solely from in-house technology, then yes, maybe it will be time to worry. But for now, it's something to keep an eye on, and let's see how this develops. Also, I noticed that I never went over or talked about Nvidia's quarter, so maybe that will be the next video. Of course, share your thoughts down in the comments below with this power move from Amazon. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.